On the sixth night, I finally saw his face, and that's when I understood. He was never trying to scare us. He was preparing. I need to tell you what happened from the beginning, because people keep asking me why I didn't call the police sooner. Trust me, after you hear this, you'll understand. Some things don't feel real until it's almost too late. My name is Ethan. My roommate Connor and I had been sharing a 2-bedroom apartment in Portland, Oregon for about a year. It was a quiet neighborhood, the kind of street where people wave at you even if they don't know your name. Nothing ever happened there. That Monday, I got off work around 9 p.m. I work at a warehouse about 20 minutes from our apartment. I was walking from the bus stop to our building, maybe a 7-minute walk when I felt it. You know that feeling when someone is watching you? Not like a passing glance. I mean really watching you, like their eyes are pressing into the back of your skull. I turned around. There was a man standing about half a block behind me, just standing, hands at his sides. He wore a dark green jacket and jeans. I couldn't see his face clearly because the streetlight was behind him. He was just a silhouette. I kept walking, looked back again 30 seconds later. He was closer, not running, not speed walking, just closer. Like the distance between us had shrunk without him even trying. I got to my apartment building, went inside and locked the door. I looked out the window. He was gone. I told Connor about it. He laughed and said I was probably being paranoid. I believed him. I wanted to believe him. The next night, same thing, same time, same walk from the bus stop. He was there again, same green jacket, same position, standing about half a block behind me. But this time he was on the opposite side of the street, like he had adjusted his position. I walked faster. He didn't speed up, but when I turned the corner toward my apartment, I glanced back and he was turning the same corner, still at the same distance, never closer, never farther, like he had measured it. I got inside and told Connor. This time he didn't laugh. He walked to the window and looked outside. "There's nobody there, man," he said, but I could tell by the way he kept glancing at the window for the rest of the night that he was bothered. On Wednesday, Connor decided to pick me up from the bus stop. He said it was because he wanted to grab food from the gas station nearby, but I knew the real reason. We were walking back together when I saw him. Same spot, same jacket, same distance. I grabbed Connor's arm and said, "There, look." Connor stopped walking. He stared. "Who the hell is that?" he whispered. We both stood there for a moment. The man didn't move. He just stood there watching us. Then Connor did something I wouldn't have done. He took a step toward the man. The man turned around and walked away. Not fast, not panicked, calm, like he had just finished what he came to do. "That was weird," Connor said. Weird didn't even begin to cover it. That night we locked every window, checked the back door twice. Connor slept with a baseball bat next to his bed. Neither of us said it out loud, but we both knew something was very wrong. Thursday night he wasn't at the bus stop. I felt relieved. I actually laughed to myself on the walk home. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just some guy who happened to walk the same route. Maybe Connor and I had scared him off. Then I got home. Connor was sitting on the couch. His face was white. Not scared white. More like someone just told him something impossible white. He held up his phone and showed me a photo. He had taken it from our kitchen window that afternoon while I was at work. The man in the green jacket was standing across the street from our apartment, in broad daylight, just standing there, looking up at our window. He was there for almost an hour, Connor said. I didn't want to go outside. "Did you call the police?" I asked. "And tell them what he said?" A guy is standing on a public sidewalk. He was right. That's the thing about situations like this. The person hasn't technically done anything. Standing on a street isn't a crime. Following someone isn't a crime unless you can prove it's a threat. And all we had was a feeling that something terrible was coming. Friday, I called in sick to work. I couldn't leave Connor alone, and honestly, I didn't want to walk past that bus stop again. We spent the day inside. We watched TV, tried to act normal. Around 6 p.m., the sun started going down and the apartment felt different. The shadows in the corners seemed deeper. At 8:47 p.m., and I remember the exact time because I looked at my phone, there was a knock at the door. Not a loud knock. 3 soft taps. Almost polite. Connor and I looked at each other. Neither of us moved. 3 more taps. Connor grabbed the baseball bat. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera, ready to record. Connor looked through the peephole. He stepped back. "There's nobody there," he said. I opened the door. The hallway was empty, but on our doormat there was a folded piece of paper. I picked it up and unfolded it. 2 words written in neat handwriting. "Almost ready." My hands were shaking. Connor took the paper from me and read it. He didn't say anything. He just walked to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and sat down on the couch. We didn't sleep that night. We sat in the living room with every light on, watching the door, listening to every sound in the building. Every footstep in the hallway made us freeze. Every car outside made us look through the window. At around 3 a.m., Connor whispered something I'll never forget. "Ethan, what if he's not trying to scare us? What if he's actually planning something?" I didn't answer because I had been thinking the exact same thing. Saturday morning, we decided to leave. Just pack a bag each and go stay with Connor's brother in Seattle for a few days, figure things out from there, call the police from a safe distance with the photo and the note as evidence. We packed fast. It was late afternoon. We just wanted to get out before dark. Connor went to start his car while I grabbed the last bag. I was locking the apartment door when I heard Connor scream. Not yell, scream. I ran downstairs and out the front door. Connor was standing next to his car. All 4 tires were slashed. Clean cuts, done with something sharp and precise. And across the street, standing under the same streetlight where I had first seen him, was the man in the green jacket. But this time he was close enough to see clearly. He was smiling. Not a crazy smile, not a horror movie smile. A calm, patient smile, like someone who had been waiting for this exact moment. I pulled out my phone and called 911. I was shouting into the phone, giving our address, describing the man, telling them everything. The man watched me make the call. He didn't run. He didn't move. He just stood there, smiling. Then he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled something out. I couldn't see what it was. Connor pulled me back toward the building entrance. Then we heard sirens. Faint at first, then louder. The man looked in the direction of the sirens. His smile disappeared. For the first time in 6 days, he showed an emotion that wasn't calm or controlled. He looked annoyed, like this was an inconvenience, like we had interrupted his schedule. He put whatever was in his hand back into his pocket, turned around and walked away, slowly, like he wasn't scared, like this was just a delay. The police arrived 4 minutes later. We told them everything, showed them the photo, showed them the note, showed them the tires. They searched the area. They checked security cameras from nearby businesses. They found footage of him following me on 3 separate nights, but they never found him. We moved out the next week. Connor went to Seattle. I moved back to my parents' place in Ohio. 3 months later, a detective called me. They had identified the man through the security footage. I won't say his name because the case is still technically open, but the detective told me something that made my blood run cold. They searched his apartment after a separate incident, a break-in 2 streets over from where we used to live. In his closet, they found a notebook. In that notebook were detailed notes about 17 different people. Their schedules, their habits, what time they left for work, what time they came home, who they lived with, which windows they left open. Connor and I were numbers 12 and 13. The detective said the phrase, "almost ready," appeared next to several of the names. He asked me if we had noticed anything else strange in the days before we moved. I said no. Then he asked me something that still keeps me up at night. "Did you ever check if any of your windows had been unlocked from the outside?" I hadn't. I never went back to check. I don't think I want to know the answer. If you're listening to this right now and you feel like someone has been watching you, don't wait 6 days like I did. Trust that feeling. It exists for a reason. Some people are patient, and patient people are the most dangerous kind.